morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to finish what we started the other day, and I need to show you a winning Pikachu EX deck and tell you how Pikachu EX can be winning in the Surging Sparks meta. Now, of course, the other day I told you that Pikachu EX was not making huge waves in the Surging Sparks meta over in Japan, and I meant that. And I'm going to show you a winning list. Now, when I showed you the other day, I told you I hadn't seen any winning lists for Pikachu, and that was true. It wasn't really out there at all. As it stands at the moment, if we have a look at this metagame, for instance, which has gone and been put together by Pokécard Book, you will notice that Pikachu is not on there, although Miraidon is, and as I told you the other day, Miraidon will tend to play Pikachu in some of the lists. If we look at this metagame breakdown of City Leagues over in Japan, you will notice that there are a lot of decks that are present on this list. You will also notice that Pikachu is still not present. So when I say Pikachu is not making huge waves in the metagame, I mean it. But I am seeing winning Pikachu lists start to creep through. We need to have a chat about them. And it's actually Pikachu played with Blissey. Blissey is the way we're making this work. Now, Pikachu, for those of you that may have forgotten, has two very good things going for it. And to be clear, when we're playing these lists, it is a Pikachu list. Pikachu has the ability Resolute Heart, whereby if it's got full HP and would be KO'd by damage from an opponent's attack, it goes down to 10 HP remaining, but is not KO'd. It basically can't be one-hit KO'd, at least with damage, it can be with an effect. And then we got free energy, 300, discard free energy from this Pokemon. So then the challenge comes, alright then, how do we get the energy on here? And like a bunch of decks we've seen recently, the answer lies in Blissey EX and Glass Trumpet. That's what we're trying. That is what might work. Now, Blissey EX is a card that I am endlessly fascinated with because it's got a really redonkulous ability whereby once during your turn, you can move a basic energy from one of your Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. It's really quite nice. It's an energy switch every turn. Also has an attack for free colorless energy, does 180. Draws till you got 6 cards in your hand. Not actually terrible. And if you're attacking with it, it is a 2-prize Pokemon like Pikachu, and it doesn't have the ability that Pikachu has, but it does have 100 extra HP. So you might be able to tank a hit with this. And then, you know, if you can take a KO while drawing a bunch of cards, that is frankly a very, very, very good thing, which is going to help you immensely. But the other thing that Blissey's got going for it here is the fact that it's a colorless Pokemon. The fact that it's a colorless Pokemon helps very much indeed, because it gives you access to Glass Trumpet. I'm still convinced, one of the best item cards in the game right now. Glass Trumpet, you got to have a Terra Pokemon in play, but that's fine because you've got Pikachu. And you choose 2 of your bench colorless Pokemon and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to each of them. Cool. So you attach to Blissey and then use Blissey to move the energy over to Pikachu. Now, there's all kinds of issues with this. The fact that you can only play 4 of these in your deck and you need to draw into them, although we're obviously using Arven here, which will search it out, which is a big deal. And the fact that you really do need 2 Blissey down to make the most of this. With Pikachu discarding free energy when it attacks, what you really want to do here is attach for turn, Glass Trumpet onto 2 Blissey, use each Blissey ability to move the energy over to Pikachu, and then sit and do 300, 300, 300. I will tell you, it is basically the same engine we talked about with Galvantula, and as much as I love Galvantula, and if you don't know exactly what I'm referring to, go watch the Leal stream, that was a lot of fun. Galvantula has not been setting the metagame on fire. It's a very similar kind of thing, but it's a stage 1 that item locks your opponent rather than a basic that does redonkulous damage. But other than that, it's a very similar kind of idea we've got going on here. And I've seen this kind of list winning a few City Leagues over in Japan. I'll show you a full list in a minute. It's got a lot of potential, but you are relying here on having Glass Trumpet and Blissey working in tandem in order to get Pikachu rolling. You're not playing Crispin in this deck, or at least the list I'm showing you, you can play it. Generally, players don't tend to, but you can. And we're not playing Sparkling Crystal as our A-spec of choice here. And the reason we're not playing Sparkling Crystal as our A-spec of choice here is because we are instead playing Cherish Carrier. It's the one that lets you search for all of your basics and bench them as much as you like. You just get to go, all right, all of my basics, go. On the bench, go away, straight away. And it's awesome, but it does then lock you out of all the other A-specs that you may wish to play. Precious Trolley is what it's actually called in English. My apologies. Cherish Carrier was a translated Japanese name I've been using. So Precious Trolley will work to get all of your basics out. And, you need really all of your Chansey turn 1. You're playing a 4-3 Blissey line, probably. You need all of your Chansey. As a side note, now it's not the best because it's got 110 HP rather than 130, but do spare a thought for the Chansey from Pokemon card 151. Now again, this is generally, in the lists I've seen, it's played as a 1 of at best. We've got 130 HP Chansey, that is generally better. Big difference between 110 and 130 HP. But this Chansey is one whereby if you take it as a face-down prize, you get to flip a coin. And if you flip heads, you get to you get to bench it and take a prize. Well, you have to bench it before you flip, actually, which is important. But it doesn't matter because you're playing a Blissey deck, so benching it isn't a big deal. In other decks, it would be because it would be filling up a bench spot. So there is a possibility here of playing this and getting a cheeky extra prize as well. If I'm going for this Pikachu deck, there's too many things that can go wrong anyway. I'm just flat out going for 4 of this Chansey here. And I know it's a bit awkward, and I don't even care. There is a lot of potential here. In terms of other Pokemon here, there really isn't very much we're playing. The Mew from 151 is actually phenomenal here. Because firstly, you've got Restart, lets you draw until you've got 3 cards in your hand. But your attack is 3 colorless energy genome hacking. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. Well, because you're playing Blissey and Glass Trumpet, you're going to be able to pay this attack pretty easily if you want to. So it's actually going to work really, really nicely here for, if you want to actually attack with it, it's going to work. We then play Greninja. Greninja is actually huge in this deck. Remember that Glass Trumpet attaches from the discard pile? So you need to get your energy in the discard nice and early. So having a Pokemon that discards an energy as a basic, but then draws 2 cards, absolutely phenomenal. This has to be your Radiant Pokemon of choice in this particular deck. Has to be. And then, of course, you can hopefully get it nice and early in the game off of your Precious Trolley. Also, Gravity Mountain here is quite nice. It's that new stadium that reduces the HP of Stage 2 Pokemon by 30. It actually fixes the maths really, really nicely in Pikachu decks. Because against stuff like Charizard, when you're not against a Stage 2, 300 is going to be enough. But stuff like Charizard sitting there with 330... well, this will bring it down to 300, and then 300 will be enough. In terms of numbers, the only thing Pikachu is ever really going to struggle to hit are Stage 2 EXs, but this will bring the vast, vast majority, all the relevant ones at least, down to 300 or lower, and into Pikachu range. So this actually fixes the maths perfectly here. It is brilliant. And apart from that, it's a lot of what you would usually expect. Obviously, we're using Earthen Vessel here because it searches out your energy and lets you discard a card from your hand. And like I keep saying, having energy in the discard pile early in this deck is very, very important because, you need to Glass Trumpet it. There's a copy of Counter Catcher in there for, funsies. We are playing Pokegear here, which I do think is more relevant here in a lot of decks, because there are going to be turns you are desperate to get your Glass Trumpet off of an Arven, or potentially grab a Professor's Research to discard your energy and then hopefully draw into a Glass Trumpet. So not every deck plays a whole bunch of Pokegear 3.0. This is one of the decks I think really benefits from it more than most. And somewhat sadly, it's another Arven deck, and it plays 4 Arven generally. It's another Arven deck that doesn't really play tools. You're literally just using Arven to search out your item card, because your item card is amazing. But while we're here, this does actually play a single TM, and I'm sure you can all guess what it is by now. It is, of course, Technical Machine Turbo Energize. Single colorless energy, search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. You have no turn 1 going second attack here with Pikachu. You need cards like Crispin to pull that off. You're not playing those cards. So you really need your stage 1 Blissey on board before you can do anything of note here. So for that reason, TM Turbo Energize actually really nice here. For that, turn 1 going second, you play 1, you search it out with Arven, get a couple of energy onto a Pikachu, and just reduce that reliance on Blissey a tiny bit. Here's the list as a whole, and you'll notice there's also one Iron Bundle, which makes your opponent switch their active. But here, it's very much built around get your Blissey, get your Pikachu, get the combo rolling. I have reservations about the Glass Trumpet Blissey engine, as much as I think it's fun, and as I've already shown you, Pikachu is not making big waves in the metagame right now. But from what I can see, this is the best way to play Pikachu in Japan right now at least. This seems to be giving it the best chance to compete, and this is a winning list on the screen right now. I've seen a couple others that look very similar to this. Me, personally, I'm playing 4 of the 151 Chansey, but, that's the best I can do. For now, let me know what you think about this and how legit you think it is in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Alex is Cruising, who is a very lovely person who's helped me out with a couple of things in the past and is awesome. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.